Okay, I'm back, and like I said, the IC title also had some of the best IC title matches that sort of elevated the belt and sort of gave the belt its own identity, and it had a lot of, and these were some of the matches that many people were talking about, and it sort of elevated guys, and it sort of took a new standard and brought a new standard to the IC title to the point where this belt sort of meant more than the WWF title at the time. So looking at some of the matches I have on here that sort of made the belt, you had Grave Valentine versus Tito Santana in a steel cage. This was probably one of the best matches between the two because some of their other two matches, they were good, but they weren't great. And it sort of kind of helped elevate the status of the belt. And then you had the Randy Savage versus Tito Santana match on Superstars. I mean, really, there wasn't really nothing to noteworthy about the match, but it was still good, and it helped get Randy Savage over as a heel. And Tito Santana still looked good in this match as well. You had the Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat matchup at WrestleMania 3, which is, in my opinion, one of the best Intercontinental title matches I ever seen. This was the match that sort of had many people talking, and it sort of brought the credibility of the belt back even more. And this was the match that sort of made the belt take a step forward take another level over the WWF title, to the point where you had many superstars going after the IC title rather than going over after the WWF title, and it sort of made two guys into stars. This was the match that sort of made, this was the IC title, not only was the match that made these guys stars, it was the guys performing that made the match as well and made the belt seem important. Then you had the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude. I mean, these two had 2 or 3 matches over the IC title, but my favorite matchup between the two, or the best matchup between the two, was the 1989 SummerSlam matchup between the two. Very good matchup, and it sort of showed you where these two were going to head into the later part, where the future between the two, and that Ultimate Warrior had future World Heavyweight Champion written all over him, and that's basically because of the IC title and Rick Rude. You had Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart, which sort of brought a new level to the IC title, and then of course it showed the future of Bret Hart becoming the WWE champion. You had Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, which sort of brought some prestige to the belt, and the matchup between the two sort of helped them out, and was probably one of the best Intercontinental title matches ever, adding to the Mr. Perfect Bret Hart matchup. You had Shawn Michaels versus Marty Jannetty from Raw 1993. You had Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon, Royal Rumble 1995. Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10. Probably one of the best Intercontinental title matches I ever seen, and it sort of helped elevate the IC title and at the same time. And just a very good matchup, and I really don't have much to say because I already said it in a couple other videos. You had Shawn Michaels versus Jeff Jarrett at In Your House 1995. You had Triple H versus The Rock ladder match SummerSlam 1998. Probably one of the best matchups between the two, although there was that 2 out of 3 falls matchup between the two, but still I prefer the ladder match over the 2 out of 3 falls matchup. That's just me. Then you had Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit ladder match in 2001. RVD versus Eddie Guerrero ladder match 2002 on Raw. Randy Orton versus Edge Unforgiven 2004, or Unforgiven 2004, I believe. This was the match that sort of elevated the belt and sort of brought the credibility back to the belt, because around 2004, the early part of 2004, the middle of 2004, the belt was sort of being treated like a joke. And once these two feuded and they had their match, it sort of brought the belt back to where it needed to be by having that match. You had Carlito versus Johnny Nitro versus Shelton Benjamin. I believe it was 2005. I forgot the name of that pay-per-view, but it sort of showed you the new breed of guys trying to compete for the belt, and sort of brought some credibility and brought the belt back to where it needed to be. You had Umaga versus Jeff Hardy, Great American Bash 2007. Very good matchup, and sort of brought the belt back to where it needed to be. You had Jeff Hardy versus Chris Jericho on Raw. I believe it was last year. Very good matchup between the two. It's also on the IC title DVD, and then finally you had the Rey Mysterio Chris Jericho matchup. Can't decide of which was the best matchup between the two, so I just say all of them. So yeah, you had all these matches that sort of brought the credibility back to the belt, sort of made all the stars. You sort of made all the stars, and it made all these guys a household name with some of these IC title matches. And it was in some of these matches were the matches that sort of made them and sort of pushed them into the WWF title scene. So this belt sort of all these matches for the IC title was the matches that sort of brought new heights and brought these guys to another level. And it was the title that sort of made all these guys into household names and stars. So yeah, this was a belt that did its job, made stars, made good matches, had good feuds over it, and really just a very good belt. And many people tend to forget it, like I said, a little bit, because as of late the belt hasn't been getting treated as it should be. But now the WWE is starting to treat it right and sort of bring the credibility back to it by having the Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho matches on SmackDown and Raw and the pay-per-views. But like I said, there's going to be a point where the WWE is going to start having to add some new blood into the IC title to actually bring some more credibility to it bring some more credibility to it when people are going to kind of get all drawn out. Kind of get exhausted of the Rey Mysterio Chris Jericho feud. They're going to have to start adding some new guys into it to bring even more credibility back to it. But yeah, this is just my video of my Wrestling Forgotten Gems, just talking about the IC title as a whole and why this belt shouldn't be forgotten. Although, like I said, it has been getting noticed as of late with the Chris Jericho Rey Mysterio. But like I said, there's some people now who were the fans of the IC title who are sort of forgot about the belt because of how the belt's been getting treated from the part of 2003 to 2005 to 2006. But then 2007 it got its credibility back, then sort of kind of went under the radar in 2000 of last year. But like I said, it's kind of getting itself built back up. But still, there's some people out there who still forget about this belt, mainly because of that WrestleMania matchup and then the early part when JBL was champion. But yeah, just giving you my Wrestling Forgotten Gems. Hope you like my video. You can rate, you can comment, you can give me a video response if you like. And until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, the part 2 of my Wrestling Forgotten Gems number 12. Just going through the best IC title matches that help make this belt and help make new stars off this belt. Hopefully you like my video, like I said. And until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to bring you a new video sometime tomorrow. Until then, thank you for watching, and Fitness65 out. And oh yeah, just remember to be sure to send me any questions, anything that's bothering you. Send it to me in my inbox, because like I said, I'm starting another part 2 Q&A, another Q&A, a second Q&A pretty soon. So just be sure to send me your questions in my inbox, or send it, I guess, in this video, and I'll be sure to mention your name in the next Q&A, and I'll be sure to answer it as best I can, that question as best I can, in the next Q&A that I do. And until then, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video of my Wrestling Forgotten Gems number 12 part 2, where I talk about the IC title matches. Till then, thank you for watching. Fitness65 out. Peace.